So the woman I would like to highlight is Ursula Burns. One of the reasons why I picked her was because after a quick Google search, I realized that, there's not a lot of women in leadership roles and positions, especially not CEOs, so I thought it would be important to highlight one who is. So before I get into her leadership capabilities and qualities, I'd like to give you some background on her. So Ursula Burns was born on September 20th, 1958 in New York City. Although she came from a low socioeconomic background, it was just her and her mother and her two siblings. Her mother was able to afford and work hard enough to afford to send Ursula to a Roman Catholic prep school. After graduating, she earned a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the Polytechnic Institute of New York University in Brooklyn. After she graduated, she went on to earn her master's degree in mechanical engineering from Columbia University. While she was earning her master's degree, she was also enlisted in an internship program that focused on minority students. So that internship program is what led her to have a full-time job at Xerox after she graduated with her master's. So to give you some background about Xerox as a corporation itself, it was a company founded on April 18, 1906, headquartered in Connecticut. It's an American company that sells print and digital documents and products and services in more than 160 countries. So now that it has grown for over 100 years, it lands itself on the Fortune 500 list of companies, which is a very impressive feat. One of the quotes I like that one of Ursula Burns's closest friends said about the company, which I thought was important to include, was, "Xerox never once told her how to look, act, or fit in, but the company did make it very clear that if she worked hard, they would give her the opportunity to make a difference." And I think that's very important, and I really like that. So, some interesting facts about her. So, Ursula was the first African American woman to serve as the CEO at a Fortune 500 company, which is a major feat. She's consistently ranked on the Fortune and Forbes list of the world's most powerful women. And just skipping around, she was appointed by President Obama to help lead the STEM Education Coalition, where she mostly focused on women and girls. She's also served on the board of numerous companies such as ExxonMobil, Uber, and beyond. So moving on to her leadership qualities. So she was able to give a lecture at MIT Sloan, and during this lecture, she outlined 6 key pillars of leadership that she lives by. And so I'll go through this and kind of give you some insight of what she said more specifically in her speech. So the first one was be authentic. By that, she just simply meant don't be someone you're not and just live and lead as who you are as an individual. The second was listening. She believed that it was important or vital to hear and act on others' opinions, and she believed that it was important to also have a diverse range of opinions. So she had different people, as in gender, age, socioeconomic status, which is kind of hard to do, more backgrounds, and race. She thought it was very important to have a diverse pool of people. She believed that you can't do it yourself, and if you did it would lead to burnout. She thought that was very important to also not do it yourself because it leads to having loyalty, instilling loyalty and trust into other people around her by giving them tasks. She also believed that although it's important to listen, it's also important to take a stand, and that you should stand up for what you believe in, and it's extremely important to contribute your own your own voice to the conversation as a leader. The fifth one she believed in was measuring. She believed that it's important to improve on everything you do, and by improving on everything you do, you should have a sort of measurement to go by. The last one was celebrating, which kind of ties into measurement. She believes that it's important to celebrate some of the milestones or accomplishments, major ones or minor ones, because she believed that fun kind of led people to just want to work harder, be better, and go to work. So one important aspect of this that I want to highlight is a scenario where she showcased her leadership capabilities. And in the case of Ursula Burns, she really showcased this in the form of handling transformation of the company. When she took office, she completely transformed it, as in she thought it was important that the company kind of switched from being a copier company to a more technological advanced company after there was a noticeable decline in sales. So after it started diversifying and transforming, it was able to outsource and acquire $6.4 billion, which is a lot of money. And through this expansion, she found that there's a lot of new employees that came from all around the world, and that brought a lot of cultural differences and language barriers. So that was one of the things that she had to contend with. But she thought that although she can kind of change some of the wording, as in language translation, she thought that it was important to really keep the core values of the company. So she was able to unite, spread the message of the company, have new employees from around the world, have the same employees remain loyal to her, and still have that original core value and company goal. So to tie back into the book a little bit, what sets Miss Burns apart from just being a manager to being a leader is that she was a visionary. She saw a goal for the company that nobody else had, and she believed that it was a goal she had to go after. She was able to inspire, set the tone, and articulate the vision because that vision of hers was implemented. It was implemented well and increased revenue as she thought it would. And she was also able to effectively exhibit managerial leadership. Managerial leadership, as talked about in the book, is basically the process of influencing others to understand first what needs to happen so that others can agree to and do what needs to be done. And she was able to do that through her transformation of the company. And lastly, she was able to cope with change, which means that she saw that something needed to change. She was understanding, she wasn't tied to tradition, and she believed that success came with change. So lastly, my personal leadership style, I would say, has to do with positivity, honesty, decisiveness, empathy, and empowerment. To tie a specific example of my leadership and why I believe this to be true is I'm a part of CUSG, and specifically CODA, which is Council of Diversity Affairs. And I believe that as being a part of the student government on campus, I think it's very important to empower others to stand behind diverse and inclusion initiatives, and to keep a positive attitude even though we may not see all the changes that we want, know that it's coming, and just to empower others to do the same. I'm excited. Thank you for listening.